Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, Yvonne Crayer, Leigh Stima, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Leigh, Yvonne, and myself, with the Realm of Beings, eagerly invite you to join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Leigh, and I'm here with Gretta today. Yvonne will not be joining us. We are very happy to be on Transformation Talk Radio every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. In these conversations, we talk about quotes that Gretta has downloaded directly from the Realm of Beings. And in this way, we hope that these conversations help you examine your life and your creation of reality. They will help you to shift your impressions and understand what you're creating in your life and how it shows up. So thank you for joining us. Gretta, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, Leigh. How are you this morning?
I'm good. So today we are going to be unraveling the quotation, when you realize that you create your reality at all times, then you have increased your strength and fortitude. So that is where we start today. And do we increase our strength and fortitude just when we make that realization and we say, oh, I'm doing all of that. Yes, I am strong. Step one. I mean, it's a huge bit of information to intake, right? I mean, to even begin to wrap your head around that we are making all of this is huge and a lot to digest.
I think so. I know when I first started to learn it, that I created my own reality, my first response was, hecky no. I said, and I told my teacher, I said, are you trying to tell me that I created all of this in my life? All the challenges. And at that point, I wasn't even calling them challenges. I was calling them problems in my life, and she said, yes. I said, I can't believe that, because it can be challenging, because when you think of something that you didn't like that happened in your life, and just to think that you were the one responsible for its creation, you were the one that's responsible for experiencing that, then that's the biggie. That's the biggie.
Well, right, because I mean, as we mention a lot on this podcast, I think many of us may fall into this kind of victim blame pattern. And it's when we don't understand that we're creating all of this, which, just like you said, with these, what we may have once referred to as problems, or this drama, or these terrible situations that are just happening to us, mostly from those other people out there,
Right.
We fall into that. But when you look and you say like, oh, I did that, it's a huge shift. It's a very giant shift of impression, to say the least.
Without a doubt, it's a big shift, because then the responsibility changes. The responsibility, like you said, no longer belongs to someone else. The responsibility is yours, and yours alone. And some people ask me, well, how do you know when, or they say, well, how do I know when I'm creating the reality and somebody else isn't? And I always tell them when it's personally, and this is a very important word, personally yours, or a personal experience of yours, then it's your creation of reality. If it's someone else's and you're just assisting, then we call that you're giving support to that other person's creation of their reality. But you can only support it. That's all you do. You can't create it for them. You can't uncreate it for them, but you support them. And that happens throughout all of existence. I mean, everywhere that you can think. And existence goes into infinity, but that's how it works. And we've used the sentence on this podcast to say, create, support, support, create. And that is continuous. It never stops. Create, support, support, create.
And I know that we've talked about that dynamic multiple times on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think we can maybe say it enough, because it is such a different paradigm from a lot of where, what most of us, come from. So, I mean, I think I probably asked you, well, how do I know if it's mine, Gretta? Am I the leading role, or am I the supporting cast? I'm sure I've asked you that question before.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even in a personal relationship, I mean, that is happening between you and someone else. So, sometimes it's a little unclear who's creating what. Are you creating this, or are you the supporting role?
Right.
Because you're involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something like how you perceive the person is treating you, then that's your creation. Or if you're blaming, it's your creation. If you're being blamed, it's their creation. Is that a way to look at it?
Well, if you're blaming someone, that means you think that they did something
to you. Right.
Right. Which is really impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible for somebody to do something to you.
Mm-hmm.
They can support you in something that you're doing to yourself, but
right.
They can't do anything to you.
And that's key.
Right. That is. It's very much so a big part of this understanding. And I think if we can get that across today to everybody, how do you know when you're creating your own reality? And how do you know when you're supporting somebody else? Mm-hmm. I think that's a biggie.
Right. So, I mean, if you haven't fully embraced this concept yet, and you're just trying to sort it out, is that if you feel like you're being blamed for something, you're the support in that scenario? And if you're projecting outward, then you're the creator?
We could say that.
What's a better way to, how do we make it more clear?
I think what you said is good. Let's use I like the stubbing the toe event. Let's say you stub your toe. Okay, who can you say caused that? Are you going to say, let's say you stub your toe on the chair, are you going to say that the chair caused that?
Well, no, but you could say, oh, that person must have moved the chair on me.
Right. Right,
Like all those like stupid things that we can do to like
right.
not take responsibility. Oh, that cleaning person, or oh, someone else in the house must have moved it.
Yep, yep, yep. That's a good one. That's a good one. But the thing is, though, that we can't even do that because it was a person, it was our toe.
Hmm.
See? It was our toe. We stubbed our own toe. The chair didn't say, okay, well, come on, Greta, let me stub your toe for you.
Hmm.
No, I would have gone and stubbed my toe. Now, what I think people need to understand too is that everything has purpose. Everything is a lesson that we're going through. So even to do something like stubbing a toe has a lot of meaning to it. And the meaning comes from mental equivalencies. And we've talked about that. That those are equivalencies that when you do something, why did you do it? What were you thinking of? What caused that? So one of the mental equivalencies for stubbing a toe, which is an accident, is anger, possibly anger. So you're angry about something. But then we can go deeper than that. Let's say you stubbed your toe on the right foot. Right in Western culture means is considered the male side, whereas the left side is considered the female side. Now in Asian culture, it's the opposite. And it's a cultural framework, the opposite being that the right side now becomes the female side, and the left side now is the male side. I think I confused the whole thing myself. Let me try this one more time. The right side in our culture is female. In Asian culture, it's male.
Okay.
The left side in Western culture, which is our cultural framework, is the left side is male. But in the Asian cultures, it's female.
Hmm.
So things can change based on how you're brought up, what's your cultural framework, how's all that functioning together.
Hmm.
But one thing about that, the stubbing of the toe is an accident, and accidents are basically, notice I said basically, anger.
Hmm.
You're angry about something. So let's remain in our cultural framework and said that we stubbed our right foot, a toe on our right foot. If we stubbed a toe on our right foot, that means we're angry about a relationship with a male. We're having some type of challenge with a male in our relationship. It doesn't have to be somebody you're married to. It doesn't have to be somebody you're related to. It can be anyone, but you can get it down to the fact that, okay, I'm angry and I'm having this anger is centered around a male. Now we can get even more specifically. We can talk about which toe did you ram or hurt or stub. If it's your big toe, then it's going to mean something else. At the moment, I can't recall it. If it's and it goes along with your fingers. Your toes go along with the same mental equivalencies as your fingers. So if you look up what your thumb represents, that's what your big toe represents.
Hmm.
Your little finger represents the same thing that your little toe does.
Okay.
So you can start through all of these experiences, you can start to figure out, where is my unconscious mind at? A lot of people, they skip that. They go conscious to subconscious and kind of sit there. Whereas we take it into your unconscious, because the unconscious is really contributing to your creation of reality, because the unconscious forgets nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you belched, it remembers it. If you ran down the street, it remembers that. It remembers everything that has occurred with you personally, because you are one with it,
Mm-hmm.
not separate from it. So it remembers everything. Whereas your conscious level is like a water glass that you've put under the faucet to get water, and you've let it overflow. What happens? The water flows out. It displaces so that you can replace it with more water. So we don't remember, we don't hold everything in the conscious mind like we do in the unconscious mind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more flowing. It's sort of what's of the moment. And if we can be present enough, the present moment only. And so all of those things, if we're not in the present moment, are coming from our unconscious, right? If you're just sitting at your desk feeling bad for yourself and you're thinking about some story from some quote unquote ancient past, that's all in your unconscious, right?
Right. It's basically going. A lot of like stubbing my toe, who's going to go on purpose and say, I'm going to stub my toe?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Nobody's going to do that. No one.
Right.
So it's going to be, it's at the unconscious level that you're doing that. Who's going to have an okay, I'm driving down the expressway. Okay, I'm ready now. I want to have an automobile accident going 60 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour.
But I mean, conversely, you can be, those accidents may occur and you can be presently angry about something. It doesn't, those,
right.
It can be on your conscious mind that creates those things too, not only from the unconscious, when you're experiencing, some kind of anger, these quote unquote accidents may occur too.
Right. It's like you're not going to give yourself a debilitating disease on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to say, give me cancer or give me diabetes, but you get it from somewhere.
Right.
And see, the thing that I think people need to understand, it comes from two places. Your thought first, and then the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Your thought, you've got to have the thought in there that's going to support your experience. Now, you can have the thought, but then the more you think about it, the more you give energy to it, the more you are intensifying that thought. And then it will reach a point where it will actualize itself in this reality for you. But you have to put a lot of intense energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
And see, cancer is a form of holding on to little hurts. So when you hang on, and you're not forgiving yourself, or you're thinking somebody else did something to you, then you hang on. Like my friend who passed, at least 10 years ago now, was a Catholic nun. And we used to always tell her, I don't know if we've said this on the podcast before, but we used to always tell her when she went into the school at night, it was an elementary school, and because she lived across the street, she would go in there to do some of her work late at night. And we told her, when you go in there, turn around and make sure you've locked yourself in, that you've locked the door. We were telling her that for, I don't know, over and over and over again. Finally, I found out, because I had left the school some years ago past that, and I found out that she had been raped in the school because she didn't turn around and lock the door. So that's a creation of reality. She's not going to do that. She's not going to create that consciously. So where does it come from? It had something was there. It could be that by us telling her, you lock the door, lock the door, lock the door, built up some fear in her. Because fear is a very interesting phenomenon, because fear will give you what you fear. You know, you're going to attract what you fear to yourself.
Well, how do you, when you were talking, I was going to ask you, well, did she see, this is a little bit of a slippery slope, because how does that necessarily work? I mean, clearly, if she didn't care about locking the door at all, it wasn't in her, it wasn't a fear of hers, like she was content, I guess. But all of you were saying, make sure you do that, make sure you do that. How does that work? I mean, is it actually the woman? Is it the woman's unconscious manifesting that for her? Or because, is it possible for the group to sort of project something on? No, right? I mean, but all of you constantly reminding her to do that, but she wasn't doing it. So how does it play out?
It plays out in the fact that who experienced the rape? Mm-hmm. She did, nobody else. Mm-hmm. So it was her personal reality.
Right.
So when it's your personal reality, then you've created that. So she created that experience for herself. Mm-hmm. Now we would want to look at, why did she do that? Then we could bring in possibly what you've said. The rest of us had fear for her well-being, and we kept giving it energy, and she picked up, it was a transfer, she picked up that energy. But she can't just pick it up now, though, Leigh.
Okay.
I don't want you to think it's just going to go and it's
That's
right
what I mean.
there.
Like you get sucked into her aura or something, or that fear projects into the collective unconscious, right? And then like somehow creates, that's what I mean. That's the fine tuning that we have to get on this.
Right. Well, see, it's the fine tuning is the fact that she took that fear in and became fearful herself. But at the unconscious level, because consciously, she's not going to say, come rape me.
And consciously,
not going to say that.
The door, consciously, she wasn't making the effort to turn around and just double check. Right.
Because she knew in her consciously, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. But then the unconscious is going,
They said you should be careful.
Right. So out of the fear, she had to have a fear of the possibility of that happening at the unconscious level, because we kept telling her, lock the door, lock the door, lock the door. Now this took over a period of years now. I'm not just talking about, 10 months. I'm talking years have gone by before she went through the experience of being raped.
Right. Now, hold on. I have a question.
Okay.
So this is how does that work? Are all of her coworkers supporting her fear by telling her to lock the door, lock the door, lock the door? Or if she didn't somewhere in her unconscious was just like, that is fine. No, I am safe. I am good. No one is going to harm me. You guys would have never said, lock the door, lock the door.
That's right. Because everything you created, Leigh. So she created to hear us tell her, lock the door when you come in late at night to do your work. Lock the door. Mm-hmm. She had to create that. You can't just go up to somebody and say, you know, uh, you may be raped, so lock the door, you
Right.
know. So
But
unless that person has that thought inside somewhere,
okay.
mhm.
Because how does it translate? I mean, it's never, because I mean, I would maybe sometimes look at that and say, okay, maybe I have the fear that I have the fear, unsafe fear. So I'm telling you, oh, just make sure you lock the door. Like if if I didn't have that fear, maybe I would never even think of it and I would never say it to you. So how does
I
that?
wouldn't think of it. And but who's thinking of it? For us, see, what you said a while back is very accurate in that she had to have that fear for us to tell her that in the first place.
Okay.
Otherwise, we couldn't have told her that. She would not, she wouldn't even be perceiving it. So consequently, we wouldn't have been supporting her in that. See, that's the support.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be in a place to receive the support. And what I mean by place, I'm saying, where are you in your mind? Where are your thoughts? What thoughts are you carrying? Because the other thing element was that the school itself was not in quote unquote one of the safest neighborhoods either. You see, so and she knew that there were other situations, other challenges that people had in that neighborhood. And see, and that was one reason why we told her, lock the door behind you. You see what I'm saying? So you're right. It was there already. And all we did was support her in it and kept giving her the energy in it until, she manifested the experience.
Okay. I don't know if we fully answered that when you were just talking about giving her the energy, of it. How does that transfer work? I think we kind of went down another avenue, but because I was saying you qualified something, but so when you say giving energy to something.
Well, that means we were thinking about it as well. We were thinking about that possibility for her when we said, lock the door behind you. You see, so we were right there, each one of us, male and female, we were right there with her with that. But like I said, it didn't happen. It took years before she manifested that fear.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you mean about giving energy if we're always creating our own reality? So what does that statement mean? Giving, like if I'm always creating something, how could you be giving me energy to support what I'm creating?
Because I'm sharing, I'm thinking what you're thinking. Like if you say to me, Greta, I'm going to live in Greece now. Okay, let's arbitrarily just say that. Right. Okay, as soon as you say, Greta, I'm going to live in Greece. What do you think about that? I said, oh, that's a great idea, Leigh. So I'm already now with you. Because you've told me something, you've shared it with me. I think I'm going to move to Greece now. So therefore, I'm already thinking Greece. I'm already thinking the country of Greece. I'm thinking of the columns. I'm thinking of the streets. I'm thinking of Athens. I'm thinking that statement to me has brought this to my mind. Not that I've gone to Greece, but I've read about Greece. I've seen videos on Greece. So I can share that with you. So I'm sharing that energy. And I think it's such a great experience to go there that I'm giving you that energy mentally. I'm sharing that with you.
Okay. Now, if I said that to you, sorry, we're a little over our time, but I think this is worth delving, continuing a little bit. So now, if I said I'm going to move to Greece, and it was a decision that I felt good about and comfortable with, you would potentially support me saying, oh, that's lovely, that's a good
Right.
idea. However, if I unconsciously was feeling a little leery about that, would you support me then? Like, would your response be, oh, maybe, are you sure about that? I've heard that there's crime there. Or
Yeah, I'd be supporting you a different way.
Okay, so I mean, also that's a good sort of barometer for us to kind of, right, to sort of read the support we're getting if we're maybe unsure about something, how others are responding to us or supporting us can
Right.
help you. Like if you're getting a bunch of not so great responses, then you can sort of feel that your unconscious may be like not leaning towards that decision, let's say.
Right.
But if
Absolutely.
others are on board, then you can be more secure that your unconscious is giving you the green light, so to speak.
Right. Think of it like a drama, a play. You're the main actor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the supporting actor.
Well, right. That's why sometimes I'm like, who am I? Am I the lead or the supporting cast?
Right. Yeah, you're the main.
So, yes. So, do you think we've covered what we needed to, Greta, on this? Because I don't want to.
I think so far, I think maybe I think the realm may be talking about the unconscious, because people will wonder, or maybe they'll wonder, or they are wondering, how would I know to support you in going to Greece? How would I know that?
Right.
You see that? Yeah. How would I know that? Or if you said, well, Greta, the company I'm working for is moving to Greece. I don't know if I should go to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say, yeah, I don't know if you should go to Greece either. You'd have to, leave where you are now. You'd have to pack up. I give you all these reasons. So I'm going to be supporting you. Or you could have just said, let me give this example.
Right, because you were saying, how does the support person offer you the support?
Right. It's because we're connected at the unconscious level. Mm-hmm. See, that unconscious is so important, because people will look at this and think Greta's got her unconscious and Leigh's got her unconscious, when in actuality we only have one. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we pick up the thoughts, because the thoughts are all one. Mm-hmm. We're all one. So that's the explanation. Now we're getting into some really interesting stuff, because then we say, okay, what is oneness?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Unconsciously, when I sent you that message today, I was saying it's just the two of us. And in the background, I was thinking, just the two of us.
Right.
The song you were, we can make it just the two of us. So that was the song I was singing. And I think that was the song that you told me that you were singing. So that's how.
Yeah, right in our text message this morning. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And you're all the way in Turkey and I'm all the way in Chicago. But yet I picked that up.
Right. So that is a little lighthearted example of how we share these things. Thank you. We will take a short break. You've been listening to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. And when we get back, the realm will directly weigh in on this quote and hopefully give us more details about strength and fortitude. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Leigh, and I'm here with Gretta, and we've reached this segment in the podcast where the Realm of Beings directly weighs in on the quotation we've been discussing this week. So, Realm, are you with us?
Yes, we're here.
Hi, Realm.
Hey, where's Yvonne? Where's Yvonne? She's gone, huh?
Yvonne could not join us this week, so
Oh.
it has just been Greta and I, and we have been talking about the quotation, when you realize that you create your reality at all times, then you have increased your strength and fortitude. And we didn't really get to the strength and fortitude part, increasing that. Do you have something to share with our listeners regarding that part of the quotation or anything?
Okay, strength and fortitude. I start to think of that person, Hercules. You know, strength, Hercules. But for individual strengths, we're not talking about a physical strength, being able to move mountains like you're Superman or Superwoman. Yet you are Supermen and Superwomen. That's the interesting part about this. It's because what is strength? Strength is, part of it is knowing you, knowing your essence, knowing your beingness. To reach that point is reaching strength, is reaching fortitude. Because when you understand that you create everything in front of you, you create your bodies, you create the places where you reside, you create your health, you create your prosperity. And knowing this gives you fortitude in that knowing I create what I want to experience. I create it, nobody else. Look how strong you have to be to create something. I don't care what it is. If it's to create to get a pumpkin pie, you think, oh, I wish I had a pumpkin pie. And then somebody, grandma or your sister calls you on the phone and says, look, George, I've got a pumpkin pie for you. You're going to get excited. You're going to really get excited. Pumpkin pie? Yes. You created to get that. Oh, I won the lottery today. What'd you get? $4, but I won. Yep. Strength. Strengthen your thinking. Strengthen your thoughts. Because that's what creates your reality or your thoughts. And then you want to give your emotions to it. It's never anything else. It's thought, it's emotion. Emotion is the gas. We always use that example with Gretta, with a car. If you don't have any gas, the car's just going to sit there unless you get a tow truck and move it. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere. However, if you put gas in it, you go to the gas station, fill up your container, come back home, put the gas in the tank, turn on the key, you're going somewhere. It's going to move. Without the gas, it can't move. It sits. So your thoughts sit and don't do anything unless you give them gas. Now, some thoughts require certain emotions to really get going. And they can, your intensity of them. Like if you don't like somebody, oh, I don't like that person. I don't even like being around that person. So you're picking up that person's energy. Oh, I don't even like that person's energy. I don't want to be with that person. That's the thought. So then, what's the gas? The gas is, I don't want to be around that person anymore. So the gas means that you're not going to be around that person anymore. You've decided that. And you put a lot of emotion to it. But now what you want to understand is, we're suggesting that you understand it. We cannot make you understand it. We cannot make you do anything. And the reason why we can't make you do anything is because you create your own reality. We don't have anything to do with that. The decisions are yours and yours only. Mama can't make you do something. Daddy can't make you do something. Your boss can't make you do something. Guess what? Your boss can't even fire you.
Realm.
Yes.
When you're talking about, realizing that you create your reality at all times and you have increased your strength and fortitude, when you say, when you realize, I think maybe the word that we kind of forgot to really talk about is a realization, right? You have to realize all that you're creating, everything that shows up is about you, right? And when you're talking about increasing strength and fortitude, I think, is that more in terms of, oh, once you realize, oh, I'm making all this, then you have to increase your strength and fortitude regarding what you're thinking all the time and your emotional status all the time. There's a level of strength and fortitude because it takes some dedication to be aware like that consciously.
Yes, but like you said, Leigh, what you're indicating is that when you can do that, it makes you a stronger person. When you understand the energy, see, the energy is that which brings things to you after you've thought it and given a lot of emotional energy to something.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy itself brings that event or situation, thing or person to you. It assists, you see. So you have the unconscious that's creating. You have the energy that's bringing it to you.
And this is all energy, like we're talking about on a kind of quantum level, right? I mean, I know it's all illusory or whatever, but sometimes if you find yourself, if you make that realize you're creating everything and you realize, oh, maybe you didn't realize for 5, 10, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, whatever. But then you finally, it dawns on you, something hits you that you've created this and you've been creating that for, a period of time. How sometimes it seems a little challenging to shift that energy, I know you always tell us it's about choice. If you don't like something, make your choice different. But when you've been creating and you've been seeing this quote unquote illusory reality and it's been there for a while, sometimes it seems like there's a lot of momentum behind that creation. and you just say, okay, I don't want this anymore, but there's these lingering things in the unconscious. What's the tool to, you know, like is it like every time those old thoughts come up, you just realize it and say, I don't want this. I want to
That's
create something
possible.
new.
That's possible. Can just say, I don't want this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the one thing about that, Leigh, is that you have to put the energy behind that. I don't want this anymore. In other words, you can't say, I don't want this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be strong about it. I'm not saying that you have to yell it out. I don't want this anymore. But you have to give it the emotional strength behind it. You can say it soft, but you can still have the intensity of it. I don't want this anymore. You can be intense. Strength. That's it. Strength. Putting strength behind it. But you know what? You have to not have any doubt.
Well, how do you remove that doubt, especially if you've been creating a situation, you know, for, let's say, longer than now you realize you want to, you know, like if something's been showing up and so you're doubting that the opposite can show up. Like, how do we remove that doubt?
Well, we've always talked about affirmations. You know, you can create affirmations. But when you do that, we always ask you to put in the word experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
You're experiencing something, not that you are something. Because some people put in, Gretta gives this example, I am happy. I am happy. So you're affirming your happiness, but it's very stagnated. I am happy because the am takes you into the moment in which you are saying it. I am happy. So you're in that moment of happiness. But the next moment, you've created not to be happy. So in your time frame, you could be happy for 5 minutes and then be unhappy right after that for 20 minutes. So it's not staying, it's stagnant. It's just right there at the very moment you say it. That doesn't mean that it is movement within it. But if you say, I am experiencing this, then you're going to keep experiencing. You're saying, I'm sending this out into infinity. I am experiencing this. I am experiencing this. Now, some people will differ with that because there are religions that say, I am is a religion, I think, if I recall. So they think of it as going into infinity, but it doesn't travel like that. The energy just does not travel like that. It stays right there. If you're experiencing something, it's like going on. It takes you on and on and on. So that's one thing we can say. Another thing that we've talked about with you that we gave is what you call the QDR, quick displace replace. And we said you say it by, let me stop there and say that the difference between the quick displace replace, which is the QDR, and the affirmation. Affirmations, you are affirming what you want. I am experiencing being happy at every moment of my existence. So you're affirming that. That's what an affirmation is. Affirming this. The QDR then in turn says for you to name the exact thing you don't want. You don't do that in an affirmation. You only affirm and focus on what you want. In a QDR, you name what you don't want. Because it says, I release all thoughts and emotions. Or you can even say it, I release all emotions and thoughts that support me. Because remember, it's create, support, create. So these emotions and thoughts are supporting you in a certain creation of reality that you no longer want. So you name that reality that you don't want. I don't want to feel abandoned. I don't want to feel rejected. So you say, I release all emotions and thoughts that support me in feeling abandoned. I love myself unconditionally. That's the replacement.
Now
I release all emotions and thoughts that support. Notice we're saying support me in feeling lonely and rejected.
Realm.
I love myself unconditionally. Yes, Leigh.
We are coming to the end of another episode of Shifting Impressions. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your guidance with us. Listeners, thank you for listening today until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with Leigh, Yvonne, the Realm, and me, Gretta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multidimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.